Alright, welcome back guys. We're going to be talking about the Second Awakening for the INUGAMIs. If you're trying to decide what to Second Awaken next, you've already Second Awakened the one monster or two monsters that made sense, and now you're like, who's next? Or do I start farming skill ups or runes? Well, let's take a look at the INUGAMIs, and hopefully this will help inform your decision. In my opinion, this is the best family, which is convenient that it's also pretty easy to farm. I personally have Second Awakened two INUGAMIs, and I'm considering a third. So let's take a look. Here is Rauk. By now you've probably seen some really awesome videos of Rauk in PvP type things. He does what he did before, except better, and so that's kind of nice. Let's look at his skills. Scratch, this is the defense break, 70% chance. Goes up to a 80% chance of a defense break, 2 turns, which is very nice. And attacks again with a 30% chance. So it is violent already, which is great. Team up. Teams up with 2 other allies to attack an enemy. You know how that works. Super great. It reduces cooldowns when it does it, and it brings a lot of just pain. So in theory, if Rauk can defense break first out of the 3 units attacking, and the other 2 units can either provide some form of control or massive damage or Verdness attack bar, that can be really nice. The other way this can work well is if you have a buff removal on the first hit, then the defense break, then the nuke. That can be very, very nice. Annihilate is his passive. When you get a kill, you get another turn, right? And your skill cooldown decreases by 1. That's the buff from the Second Awakening. So it makes this more readily available. So in theory, you kill, you do this, you kill, you do this, more or less. Plus he has a chance of proccing an additional attack anyway off his first skill. So great kit, tons of burst damage that's difficult to deal with, especially with the new base stats he's acquired. He's just a little bit upgraded with the attack, stuff like that. So a very viable, really aggressive, possibly one of the most aggressive options for Second Awakenings. So that's Rauk. Let's look at Ikaru. No leader skill for Rauk, by the way. Ikaru has Scratch. The defense break does not come with an extra turn because it's not Rauk, it's Ikaru. Team up, just like Rauk, except the number of allies pulled increases according to defense. So he's a defense type monster with 736 defense. He'll pull extra monsters based on how much defense you give him. So in theory, it can pull an additional monster out of the 4, whereas Rauk pulls 2, he could pull 3 if you have enough defense. Kind of cool. It's a skill cooldown decreasing skill as well, which is very nice. If there was a defense-based team that you could put together that decreases cooldowns, that would be nice. I'm trying to think of one offhand. Maybe it'll come to me. But that's the direction I think you should be going in if you're considering using him in that way. Counterattack, this is the one we see in TOA, and it's sort of annoying. Increases your attack power and counters attacks for 1 turn when you attack on your turn. So it's an automatic effect. So attack power up, counterattack for 1 turn. Interesting. So it's an automatic counterattack. It always counterattacks. So it's going to be defense breaking like crazy when you hit him. The weird thing about him is he doesn't scale off defense, even though he wants a lot of defense. And then he increases attack power here from his passive. So I don't know. You gotta, I guess you build him full attack, but hope that you have enough defense subs to hit whatever the threshold is to pull an additional monster. Maybe you don't get greedy and you just try to pull 2 monsters like Rauk. I don't know. Another thing that makes him interesting is the speed leader skill, which is not to be underestimated. It's water, which means Orion, Bastet, boosters, right? So it'll increase your boosters if they're water. Trying to think of other water-based units that would be super useful to have this skill. Water Monkey, he's a single target buff remover. So that leader skill might make him worth bringing in certain situations by himself. So it's not horrible. It's pretty good. All right, let's look at Ramahan. It's basically the same Ramahan, except they made everything scale off defense, which I think is pretty cool. Look at that defense, 812. And look at the HP too. So for some reason, Ramahan got crazy love that Ikaru didn't in the stats that matter. He got a little bit more HP, quite a bit more defense. It cost him attack, but what does Ramahan care about attack? Ramahan doesn't care about attack. He cares about defense only. So base stats alone makes Ramahan really, really nice. Here we've got the Scratch. It's the defense break. You can see it there. Seize, which is single target buff removal, just like Bella. Super nice. Removes all beneficial effects. Damage increase only. I'd be interested, I guess it's a damage based on defense scaling because everything scales off defense, so that's kind of nice. Reusable in 3 turns, requires accuracy, so yeah. And then Smother, this is the nuke that people used to use Ramahan for with like copper teams, stuff like that. But now it's still here. What's nice is if you kill, you get another turn. The damage increases as the enemy's HP status decreases. So it deals a ton of damage, especially if the thing's defense broken. And then if it's hurting even a little bit from some previous injury you inflicted on it, it's going to hit even harder. So he is now a full defense nuker, which is pretty nice, with a leader skill that affects what he does. So if you're running him with Copper Bulldozer, this leader skill is going to affect Olivia and Amesity, which are the single target boosters for Copper Bulldozer. So just a perfect little kit that works really well with that defense-based comp. In Guild Wars as well, you know, Copper is used a little bit in Guild Wars. So it's nice to be able to give Copper the chance to outspeed against comps where he otherwise might not. This is also not to be underestimated, the C's. And I think the Scratch as well is pretty sweet, because when I see Copper Bulldozers in action, they don't really have a defense break, and they often don't have buff removal, and this is both. So he brings a lot to the table for those types of comps. All right, Bella Dion. Everybody knows Bella Dion. This is most people's first couple of monsters they second awaken because they already have on 6-starred and they know him. They know how good he is. All this is Bella Dion with better stats. Looking at him right here, which is a good enough. Like if they had just increased his stats, that'd be great, because he was lacking on stats. Now he's got good HP, good defense, and always had good base speed like the other Inugamis. Scratch also comes with a bar decrease, 15% bar decrease, which is great. Goes up to 25%. Incorrect. Goes up to 60%, still 15% bar decrease with a 60% chance if you skill him up. So that's pretty nice. Helps with the turn cycling. C's, just like Ramahan's, except if there's no beneficial effects, it goes up by 30 and 40% bar when skilled up. So if there's nothing to remove, you C's, you probably do no damage because it's Bella, but you get 40% bar, which lets you hopefully heal again sooner or scratch again sooner. All right, Mobilize. The attack bar fills up by 30%, HP goes up by 35%. This is old Bella, but the attack bar increase goes up to 40% when skilled, and the heal goes up to 38-ish percent, 38.5%. When skilled. So 38.5% AoE heals, really nice. I mean, what Pra's 50%, so it's close. And the 40% bar, AoE bar, is super, super good. Because every time you see a Bella from now on, you're going to wonder, is that a healer? Is that a bar booster? You know, is it boosting them into turn 1, or is it healing for turn 2? And the answer is probably yes. You have to treat it as both. Which is nice to have that level of deception in, you know, RTA matches or any sort of PvP content. So Bella's really, really nice. He was good before, better now. Looks cool, just like the other Inugamis. But yeah, I think the Bella's super viable. All right, Crow, while also looking really cool, gets a nice little base stat bump, a little bit of an attack bump there. The Scratch is a 2-turn defense break with a continuous damage, a 3-turn dot. So little dot there. Team up with one other ally. The damage increases by 20% for each harmful effect on the enemy. This effect also applies to the ally who attacks with them. So Crow and the ally both get a nice little boost off their skill 1, which is pretty cool. And then let's look at Scar. Attacks the enemy's wounds to leave a branding effect for 2 turns. The damage increases by 50% for each harmful effect on the enemy. So harmful effect goes up to 3 turns with the skill up, which is kind of cool. A 3-turn single target brand. You know, he's a PvE monster, right? A brand is pretty rare and useful in PvE content. Raids, if you're not doing KB or QB5. Maybe the elemental things where you have to kill them for stones to make reaps, whatever those are called. The rifts, right? So you got the brand, it scales based on harmful effects. You've got the team up, it scales based on harmful effects. And then you've got the defense break. So a nice little kit for PvE content. Okay, in my opinion, all 5 Inugamis are worth building if you have a need for that niche. So I would say hands down the Inugamis are the best family to second awaken. If I saw someone with all 5 second awakened, I wouldn't wonder if they were crazy. I'd be like, oh, okay, they, you know, have a use for Crow and Bella and everybody in different spots. Myself personally, I've second awakened Bella. I second awakened Ramahan as my second one because I felt like it changed him enough in a way that was useful. And then I'm now trying to decide what to do for my third one. So it might be Rauk. I could see Rauk. Probably not Crow, because I already have that niche filled. Or it might be one of the other monsters. But I think Rauk is tempting. The blue one, not so much yet, but maybe I'll stand corrected on that respect. But Rauk is fun. It's like power packed fun, so I might go in that direction. So I hope that was useful looking at the Inugami Second Awakenings for people that are considering an Inugami. And yeah, good luck with everybody as they Second Awaken monsters, or pivot into farming skill ups or farming the runes. And I will catch you in the next video, everybody. Take care.